Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin' Mommy, and it's Thursday, September 4th, 2025, here for a Flosstube Extra. This is regarding the Great British Baking Show cross-stitch game. So this is not going to show progress of any kind, but I decided I want to participate in this just a little bit. It was originally put together by Jessie Marie Does Stuff, and I'll put a little link to her video that she recorded last year that kind of explains the rules and the way she presents two different ways you can play it, both of which I believe are counting options for number of stitches, and neither one really fits the time that I want to give this game because I have a lot of other stuff going on in my stitchy plans right now. Smokey's in here. Hi, kitty. So anyways, however, I am going to take the general idea of assigning projects to each of the contestants, and then whenever something happens, I'll do some stitches on that project. So there are 5 different ways that are very consistent from episode to episode that I could get stitches in these projects. One is Star Baker, basically who wins that episode, who's eliminated from that episode, and first and last in the technical challenge, because those are clearly delineated. And then the wild card is if anybody gets a handshake. Sometimes it's never, sometimes there's 2 in one episode, so that one's a maybe. So there'll be at least 4 things every week, sometimes 5 or 6, that could get work on. And so what I'm gonna do is keep it super simple, and I'm just gonna do 1 strand on that project for the week. So with the exception of eliminated, if someone is eliminated, I'll give them a bonus strand. So they'll get 2 strands if they're eliminated instead of 1, just because they won't come back around anymore throughout the game. So that's not a lot, but it's better than nothing, and it's something that will be fun. And so what I noticed when I was originally, they have a cast list online, and originally I was trying to assign projects based on the matching letter of their first name. So I had somebody's name started with A. I was looking through all my A projects and picking something. A lot of my projects I was picking things that were things I hadn't yet worked on this year, or were older projects that really need some more attention, and some things within that letter that matched a name. The oldest project in that category was not that old. It was just a few years old. So I kind of set on it after I kind of assigned everything a project, and then came back to it and realized, you know what? I wonder how many projects I have in my category that don't have a known start date. And because last year I went through all my projects and found as many start dates as I could from all the way back through my Flosstube videos and my Instagram records. Before I started sharing cross stitch on Instagram, I didn't keep records like that, so I have no idea these start dates. And there's some older projects that I have restarted since I've joined the Flosstube or the stitching community online. So those have a new start date. So those don't count in this category, but there are still 12, too perfect. There are 12 projects with no start date recorded in my WIP list, which means they're too old to have been, they're started before I started sharing on social media, so they're at least 10 years old. And so I don't know when I started them. I have a general guess of maybe somewhere in this year I started them, but I don't know. So those 12 pieces are what I'm gonna work on for the Great British Baking Show. And I just decided to do it alphabetically. I have my list of 12, the list of names, and just matched them up. So as I don't know anything about these contestants yet, so I don't know. I mean, they have their little bios online, but I figured I don't want to try to match them up to what fits their person. I'll just keep it very linear. And so I'm going to share my starting points for those 12 projects, because the first episode drops in the US tomorrow on the 5th. The UK got theirs on Tuesday on the 2nd. So UK people can already play. But our episode starts on the 5th, which is tomorrow. We're most likely going to be watching it the day it comes out. So it'll be perfect to just have a little note next to me, if any, who does what. And then throughout the next week, I'll throw a strand into whichever projects get attention based on the people that did stuff in the game. So anyways, hopefully that was clear as mud. So now I will go through my 12 projects and who they're assigned to, and then as I do my normal update videos, I'll show my progress on whatever I've worked on associated with the game. And it'll probably be very small progress because it's just one strand each time something happens, but it's better than nothing. And these guys need some love. I still like them. They don't call to me as loudly because they are older. So first one alphabetically is Adia, the Garden Fairy by Mirabilia. So this is assigned to Aaron, and this is a fun one. I think I got hung up on this at one point. I can't remember. I guess it's just a lot of confetti in her head and hair area, which I think I have finished now. So it should be a little smoother sailing from here on out, but I just don't seem to come to this one that often. This is a 32 count linen, 2/2, full cross, and it's probably the called for dirty. It's probably that. I didn't stray too far from the originals back then. So I have this top corner of her wing is all the way done with all the beads and backstitching. Her head now is done with beads and everything. So I can finish, the wings and start moving down. And I believe, I don't know if I have her in there yet, but I have been switching over all my mirabilias to work on them in books, where I just take a picture of the pattern and then highlight it with my finger, because it's like a digital working copy, so it's a little easier to manage with. You can zoom in, you can, keep track of where you are. Sometimes when there's big blocks of color and you get lost sometimes. So that will be less likely to happen. And so that one, there's a good amount of these that are not in Pattern Keeper, so that'll be what I'll make sure to do with all of these that are like that. The next one is Antique Shoe Collection, and this is a Bucilla kit. I'm using all the kit materials, and I'm about halfway done. I think I have all the shoes done through here, but I don't have the borders done yet here, just at the top. And this bottom shelf is not yet started, so that's that one. So this is all the kit stuff, which is probably a 14 count antique white. It doesn't say what color it is, but I don't have these guys yet, so I'm still working on those guys. So when I worked on this earlier this year, I did some backstitching around the border. So this border is done from like here to here. So pretty much the top of the border is all done. Everything else needs a little bit of something. And then these shoes I'm working on next. So that's what I'll focus on next. 14 count, 2/2, 2/1. And that's a fun one. Then Chaplain's Garden, another kit I got in high school. This is a Jan Lin kit, and it's super fun, but very confetti heavy. So I think that kind of slowed me down at first. And at the time I wasn't highlighting charts even, so that was rough. And so I had started highlighting the chart at some point in the past 10 years, and it has helped, but I think I'll probably also put this in books and I can mark off with my finger and just be a little easier. I can zoom in, make sure I'm seeing all the symbols. Using all the kit stuff for this one too. And this is a 14 count Adia also. This one's light blue. So here is my starting point on, goes all the way down, on Chaplain's Garden. So I'd had most of this done already before I started social media. So now I'm going back to the top and trying to fill in from the top down. So I did these clouds in recent years, and so we'll see what I get to. When this, I forgot to say, Hassan is assigned to Antique Shoe Collection, and this one is assigned to Ian, going down alphabetically down the lists. And then End of the Ball is the next one. This one is assigned to Jasmine. This is a golden kite, and it's very pretty. I have worked on this off and on over the years, but it is technically at least 10 years old. And I don't know exactly when I started it. This one is, here's my starting point. It's on a 24 count Congress cloth 2/1 half stitch. And this is not the edge of the piece, it keeps going, but it's the edge of like some curtains or something. So that's kind of where some of the colors were stopping. You can see the start of the man. This is the woman, back of the woman's head right here. But I will probably continue on symbol picking across the top, like I like to do. And then the next one is for Jessica. This one is Fantasy Triptych by Teresa Wentzler. And this is one that I actually adopted from my sister-in-law who started it and then gave up on it. And I'm like, I could finish that for you and give it back to you. And it's been at least 10 years, probably longer. I don't even know if she wants it anymore when I'm done with it, but I'll still finish it and I'll offer it to her when I'm done. Who knows when I'll finish it, but this is this one. It was started on the called for, it's just a booklet, but it is the called for fabric, which is a 25 count, probably antique white, 2/2 full cross. Except for the faces, I believe, are 1/1. She did most of the castle, and I did some of the back stitching on the roofs. I did that myself. I did a good amount of the border, and she did most of the trees. I did some of the trees. So most of the castle and some of the trees is what she had done. And then I went through and added some border, added some trees. The lady is all me. A lot of the border's me. This is like some of these colors that I was using at my string over here. So I'm not sure what I'll do, if I'll go up here and work on the castle, if I'll work on her scenes some more, or the border. Obviously, there's still lots to go on the top. So maybe I'll work on border at the top, and the top of the castle there. But this is one that I don't think is in books, but I'll probably put it in there to, because I think there might be a PDF version available of this pattern, but I don't know if it's Pattern Keeper compatible, so then it's not really worth it to me. If it can't be fully compatible with Pattern Keeper, I'd rather just do books and mark it off than buy another PDF. So if somebody knows, somebody has seen the PDF of some of Teresa Wentzler's things, then, and is it Pattern Keeper compatible? If anyone can tell me, let me know. Then we have grapes. This one is assigned to Layton. GH. This is another golden kite. This is the small version, and it had plenty of detail for me. I was happy with it. I've got a lot done on this, so at some point, when I maybe finish some gift stitches, I'll probably focus on this to try to finish this, because it's really pretty, and I think it would be fun to focus on to get it done. So here is this one. This is on an 18 count Fiddler's Ada, 2/1 full cross. The top row of pages is all finished. And I had been parking for a while on this one until I discovered Pattern Keeper and didn't want to park anymore. So then I worked in my parked threads, which ended up going everywhere. So now I am doing my symbol picking within the row and then working it in wherever it goes. So I'll probably work on whatever's starting in here and then fill those strings in. So that's the starting point on that one. And then we have In the Beginning, which is assigned to Leslie. This was a dimensions kit that I got from my first college roommate's aunt. And I ended up kitting it up myself with my own fabric and floss. And so my margin is teeny tiny. It's literally an inch on the top. But since I stitch in hand, it's okay. So I do have a little bit all the way down. So this is 18 count antique white Ada. It's mostly 2/2 full cross, although there are some half stitches that are 1 and 2 stranded. It's like the background of this sky is a half stitch. So I'm working on the peacock mostly right now. All of this stuff is fully done with its back stitching. So I'm like doing this corner and coming down. So, and then I'll probably start in on the words whenever this top corner is done. So that's my starting point on that one. And then we have another golden kite. That's kind of a theme here. I started a lot of golden kites just before I found the main, like, I was part of a, like a, what do they call it, a forum? Maybe a golden kite had a place where you could chat with other golden kite people. And I don't have access to that anymore. I think they either took it down or I have been inactive for long enough that I can't get back in. So I don't know exactly when I started these because that information might have been shared in there. But before I joined Instagram and then Flosstube, I did that for a little while. So a lot of these golden kite ones were started then in like the early 2010s. So here's the love letter. This is the full size. They have a smaller version, but I liked the detail of her dress and her hair and, well, not hair, but hat and flowers. Like, just, I love her. I love the blue of her dress. There's another golden kite that I have since restarted, so it's not part of this list. Princess de Broly, that's also got a fantastic dress that's blue, but that didn't make the cut because I have a new start date for it because it was restarted. So this one is still on the original. This is a 24 count linen, I think. It might be an even weave, but it's a very slubby even weave. And this is a 2/1 half cross on this 25 count. I think it was one of the first 25 counts I tried. And as you can see, I was doing column parking, and so I think these first like several pages are finished. The detail on the edge of this feather on her hat is just amazing. And then I decided once Pattern Keeper came around, I didn't want to park anymore. So I've been working on stitching in my parked threads, which is why you end up with all of this all over, because this is how far the threads have gone when I work them in. So I'll keep doing that. Whenever this one comes out, I'll just work those in some more. And that one goes with Nadia. Okay, then we have another golden kite. 3 sisters. This one represents me and my sisters. I'm the blonde over here. It's a lot darker now, but I was blonder when I was young. My sister was more red when she was young too. Her hair looks really dark now too. And then my younger sister has always been a brunette. So this is us. And this is also an 18 count and it's large, but I've done so much on it, I'm not restarting. And I like 18 count. It's big. So here's this one. It's like this big piece of fabric that I've done just over here, starting on the background and the first girl, 2/1 full cross with the 18 count. This is by Emile Vernon. So I was doing some parking in the background. I think the first thing I tried parking on, and I liked it because there's a lot of confetti in there. But then eventually with Pattern Keeper, I was like, you know what? I'd rather just work them till they're in. Now that I can highlight the stitches, symbols, and see where they go, I'd rather just follow them. And then her face is over multiple pages. And so when I pick a color in her face, I'll do it everywhere, which is also, again, really easy to do in Pattern Keeper rather than what I used to do, which is flipping through my binder from page to page to get to all the places in her face. Much easier. So that'll get some attention. This one is assigned to Natalia. This is an old map container because it's really long. And then we have To Everything a Season sampler, which has just now started to join my temperature stitching journey sometimes. This is an old needles and hoops kit by Busilla, also Cooler Design Studio. And so now I have this in Pattern Keeper because there's this is called To Everything a Season sampler on here. The version on the Cooler Design Studio website is called Traditional Sampler. And so I bought that and can now work on this in Pattern Keeper, which is fun. But I'm currently using all the kit stuff. This is my starting point, 28 count Lugana, or even weave of some kind, in 2/2 full cross. So I'm still working in this corner, which I've done a little bit for the temperature stitching. And then if I finish this corner, then I'll head over here and do the rest of the top row before I move down. So that's the plan on that one. And that one is assigned to Puiman. I don't know how you say that, but that's close, hopefully. And then I have another mirabilia. This is Villa Mirabilia. This is assigned to Toby. And I remember buying this on like our second anniversary trip. So it's 22 years, or first, yeah, it's probably second. So maybe it's 21 years old. Still not done. This is another big one. This is the only mirabilia I have on a fat half of fabric. And I have a good amount done with it, but I've been hung up on the background pots and probably could have left them out, but I'm a completist. I wanted to do it. So here is this one. This is also probably I think it's either the called for linen or similar. I kitted it up in an LNS on our anniversary trip. And so I'll be finishing this pot area with what I do next, and then I can get back to her beautiful dress. This is 2x2 full cross, probably willow green Belfast linen, but it could be something similar that they had in stock at the time at that LNS, because it's a very warm green. And then the last one is, drumroll, any guesses? Alphabetically, thinking of my oldest projects. Another golden kite. Waterfall in Yosemite. This is also the mini version of this, but because it's on 18 count, it is pretty big. And I have finished, I think, the first row of pages on this one finally. I was working on the sky a few years back, trying to get the sky done. So I think all the sky is done. This is assigned to Tom. Yeah. So here is my starting point on this one. And to 18 count, antique white Adia, 2/1 full cross. So I have all the sky is finished, which is super fun. And the top page of this rock is done. You can see the outline of this rock formation in the waterfall right here. So that's fun. So I'll be working on this. It's in Pattern Keeper now. I can pick symbols in my, along the horizontals and then work them in wherever they go. So it'll be fun to get back to this one. This is when I started with the intention of putting it up in our house because I thought Yosemite was my husband's favorite national park. Then I realized Yellowstone is his favorite national park, the other Y park. I was like, oh, and Yosemite is nice, but it wasn't like, my intention was to do something with his favorite. So anyways, it's all right. It'll probably still end up going up on the wall when it's done. But so those are the 12 projects that I'll be doing for the Great British Baking Show cross-stitch game. And my oldest 12 projects assigned evenly to the 12 contestants. So we'll see what happens. One strand on whatever project it is, depending on who does what during the show, except for the person who's eliminated that week, and they'll get 2 strands. So not a lot, but I thought it was fun, and it's just something to participate because I think it'll be kind of fun to like play along a little bit. So with that, I hope you have a fun week, and if you're gonna play the baking game, have fun and share what you're working on with that. And happy stitching. Bye.